22. There he is. Thanks, guys. Who loves this country? Yes! I fucking love it. I love this country. I love it. I love our freedoms. Love it. Love we can come here and celebrate some freedom of speech together. Who here is religious? Anybody? Yes. Anybody Catholic? Yes. Anybody different than Catholic? Yes. I love the freedom. Freedom of religion is great. I love that we can all be happy when someone finds peace in a religion. But if you become too religious, we're also happy to send the ATF to burn your fucking house down. So, be safe out there. Don't pray too hard. Anyone here that was raised religious but no longer practices? Yeah, my people. Nobody talked to us about sex. Nobody. I got most of my sex talk from church, which was generally, don't do it until you're married, and the youth pastor reciting confusing Bible verses damning masturbation. Or as God would have it, the spilling of one's seed. One of these Bible verses I always remembered is Genesis 38, 7 through 10, where Judah has his oldest son killed by God because he was wicked. So Judah commands his younger son, Onan, to have sex with his dead brother's wife so she can have babies. But Onan, he's not cool with this. So, when he has sex with his dead brother's wife, he pulls out and spills on the floor. This angers God, but only because he spilled his seed. And he causes Onan to die. So, God's cool with adultery with your dead brother's wife as long as you don't pull out. Maybe we were quick to judge Hunter Biden. I mean, they're a religious family. Surely he knows about God's no pulling out when fucking your dead brother's wife rule. He's good. God damn it. Because of the fear my youth pastor and the word of God put into my dick, I was pretty spill-free until right after I turned 16. When, like a skinny, less talented Tim Tebow, I returned from a mission trip to Mexico, where I met a girl on this mission trip, and we started talking. And this was a big deal, because I was an overly religious teen with acne, braces, and a mullet. There weren't many interested. Well, she called me one night, and she said, I've been praying to God, and he says he doesn't want us to be together. And she hung up. I've been loyal to God my whole life to this point, and the first chance he gets, he fucking cockblocks me. So to get back at him, you know what I was doing? I was spilling. Like Michael J. Fox eating soup on a roller coaster. And Jesus wept. Jesus Christ, that shit's good. Now this mission trip that I went on, there were always moments in it that felt kind of odd. Like we did dig a well, and we did paint a youth building. But what I remember most is hanging a large white sheet in the town square of this small Mexican town and showing the Passion of the Christ every night for a week, just to be sure they got the message. Which after a week just kind of seemed to be that Mel Gibson does not like Jews. But I did not have long to feel odd, because Tim Tebow did an interview for the New York Times about what he does on his mission trips. He gets invited to assist medical doctors in procedures. He is circumcising young, impoverished boys in the Philippines. To this day, he does not have a medical degree or background. He goes back all the time through his Tim Tebow Foundation. So, I don't feel too bad. All we did was force a small Mexican town to watch Mel Gibson direct the Jews to graphically murder Jesus for a week. Tim Tebow is a serial circumciser with zero medical credentials. They say we made enemies while fighting overseas. Now, I mean, ISIS was bad, but we never sent Tim Tebow over there to crudely cut their dick skins off. That's a terrifying enemy. Fuck Tim Tebow.
Yes.
All right, so like I just briefly mentioned, I'm a veteran. So yes. Because I served and fought for Halliburton, I take injustices that I see in everyday life very seriously, especially that of equal representation. For example, does anybody here struggle with naps like I do? Living with a national average penis size comes with many struggles in today's society. Just recently, I was shopping for dildos. I did not feel represented. I think dildos need labels on them, letting people know how much bigger they are than the national average penis size. Because in the moment is not the time you want them learning what the average is. It's dangerous. And if you don't believe me, well then you've never found yourself in reverse cowgirl with someone pulling up thinking they got clearance for 8, but all you got is 6. And if that person on top is drunk, you can say goodbye to their aim as they blindly hammer their body weight onto your dick. And the whole time, you're just one imagined inch away from disaster. That's why safe sex for me has always been when I control the thrusts. That way, when my dick falls out, it's on my own terms. I can't complain too much. When you're more represented in the butt plug section, anal sex is not elusive. Jesus, I need water. Alright, this is a good segue. Male enhancement pills are fake. Yet they made over $200 million last year. But no worries. I think I found the solution. I was recently on Reddit reading about a trans woman who's been shrinking her penis for the last 4 years using hormone therapy. Don't do that. If you want to downsize, I'm looking for an upgrade. I got a bunch of dick pics on my phone to prove I'm your guy. I think trans women are missing out on the dick envy market. That's no snake oil between their legs. And they've been sewing penises on since the 90s. Clearly, the world's next billionaire is a well-endowed trans woman auctioning off her extra meat online. Dick swap would not only be the next Pornhub category, it would be our country's next hit show. Think of it. They bring together a bunch of small-dicked, racist, and bigots with well-endowed trans women of all types, with the aim of making each other's dreams come true. I'd watch it. I think a redistribution of dicks would equal less racism and bigotry in our country as we enter into transracialism, dick first. Listen, guys, listen. All I'm really trying to say is, please don't shrink your penis. Consider mine instead. My blood type's B positive, if anybody's wondering. Woo. Anyone here found themselves in a situation where they had to do something that they thought they would never have to do? Yeah? I think life is more situational than anything else. I think it's odd to declare things. Like, I'm sure the Donner Party would have declared at the beginning of their trip that they would not eat their family members. But when the situation presented itself, little Timmy was dinner. I think sexuality is similar. A lot of people nowadays seem to declare their sexuality. Mine seems to be more situational than a set thing. For instance, Colby, if you were to ask me, what would it take for me to suck your dick? I would have to say, well, that depends on my situation. In my current state, I would need life-changing funds to do it willingly. But if I go 3 days without food and sleep, I'll do it for a cracker. If you add in the cold, I'll do it as long as we cuddle after. This is what I learned from military training. Survival. Nothing's gay if you're trying to stay warm, they would tell us. Really started to make you understand all the ancient armies like the Spartans. They were cold, hungry, tired, and gone for years at a time. Of course they fucked each other. In Ranger School, by the 3rd day in the cold mountains, I was already sharing my sleeping bag with a strange man to stay warm. You give me another month, I would have been a Spartan. Or at least the guy that'll suck your dick for a cracker. Either way, I will survive. Okay. Do you guys ever try to put yourself in other people's shoes? Try and make yourself have some empathy towards others, add some kindness to your life? I do. Does anybody here get seasonal allergies? Yes! Ragweed! I get it terribly, terribly. And every allergy season, I try and think about other people out there in the world that are suffering the same or worse congestion than me, but suck dick for a living. I can barely make it through dinner during allergy season. I have ran out of breath. I have grown to be extremely empathetic towards sex workers that struggle with hay fever. I've also realized there's a lot of money in sex work, and I should just piggyback off of my situation. Start an OnlyFans page. My eyes are already puffy and watering. My mouth's already hanging open because I can't breathe out of my nose. I just need to add some cheap mascara, tight 11 picture, post throat fuck. Nobody will be the wiser. All right, we're having fun talking about fucking throats. Who here has seen this wonderful commercial on TV called for Cologuard? Anybody? I love that commercial. People are dancing around about putting their poop in a box and sending it off in the mail to see if they have colon cancer. It looks amazing. What they do is they give you this toilet attachment that makes it 6 times smaller for you to hit. Clearly showing that the people at Cologuard have never used a public restroom. Because when I walk into one, my first thought is generally, we should make these holes bigger. But at Cologuard, you must not also aim like an Olympian. Your specimen can be no bigger than a walnut. Period. They do not expand. They do not let you know if they mean just the nut with the shell on, or green off the tree. You just have to figure it out. And once you have met all of these vague-ass requirements for Cologuard, you must now return your specimen. I must warn you, Cologuard does not take their branding off the return packaging. Finally answering the question of, what's in the box? It's poop. It's poop. And because Cologuard is a high-class company, they only ship UPS. So when they ask what Brown can do for you, they can haul our nation's cancer-ridden shit in trucks that reach 140 degrees. It's no wonder those drivers went on strike for air conditioners. That is the same temperature as a porta potty in Afghanistan. Trust me, I know. I masturbated in them. Please remember that if you want to thank me for my service later. Oh God, I'm bored. I can be louder than them. So I'm white. For those of you that don't see color. I also get lots of freckles, which is just my skin cells overproducing melanin because when I'm exposed to the sun, because I was originally born without any. My skin cells have spent the last 34 years trying to correct this poor design. That's why I think it's crazy every time I see a ginger being racist towards black people. Like, hey, your body's literally trying to correct itself to their better suited skin color. Sadly, I think a lot of racism is due to us pasty folk who realize that if global warming continues, we're fucked. We do our best work in poor lighting. Really, an ice age would be more in our favor. Maybe that's what Michael Jackson was preparing for. No? He's just a misunderstood prepper. Well, I like listening to Michael Jackson. Who likes listening to rap, hip-hop, R&B? Yes, yes! I don't know the difference between those three. I'm just a white guy from the Midwest. I just know it's not country. But my favorite artist amongst this mysterious genre is Too Short. Anybody love Too Short? Fuck yeah. Even though he tells me in every single song how his dick is bigger than mine and he's gonna fuck my wife. For instance, he says in the Good Book of Cocktails, chapter 13, verse 2 and 3, I'm short dog, ain't nothing nice. You ever make me mad and I'll fuck your wife. I love his music. And I'm sure he's a great guy, but I could never have him over to my house. He's got me on the dick thing. I will not allow him to make it 2 for 2. Really, what I think a lot of these rappers could do is just start a cult on the side. I mean, if you want to fuck everyone's girl, it's a proven route. You just can't pee on them. R. Kelly? Who's got kids? Yes! Yes, me too. Me too. And when my wife was pregnant with our youngest, I didn't know what to get her. She's miserable towards the end, and I wanted to get her a good gift about motherhood. What I found were all these sites selling jewelry made from post-pregnancy body fluids. You know, placenta, amniotic, breast milk. So I saved a bag of fluids. 7 years later, it's still in my freezer. I just can't seem to find the right occasion to get a ring made with a card that says, to always remember, this came out of you. You don't think people ever get post-abortion jewelry made, do you? Like some monster out there, like, I didn't want the kid, but I love this necklace. Jesus Christ. Okay, so I have grown up always hearing the words, you can't say that. And I'll give you some examples. I was recently at a Christmas get-together with my family and was gifted a pair of house slippers that were a little too tight. I didn't want to make them feel bad, so I said, don't worry, I'll trim my toenails and they'll probably fit. You cannot say that. I was at another family gathering and a member of the family started talking about the many kidney stones that they had passed. And I said, Jesus Christ, what does your urethra look like, a tattered flag? You can't say that. When I see a fat firefighter and say, we send them into weakened structures, can't say that. But this is a rough one. When the news is telling me that Social Security is going to fail because too many people are living longer, and I say, well, aren't over 40% of Americans obese? Can't say that. Cannot say that. Last one. This is a rough one. When I see a fat firefighter I did that one. When I see a fat police officer, there we go. When I see a fat police officer and say, you know they shoot first. Can't say that. Can't say that. Jesus. Alright, like I mentioned earlier a couple times, I'm a veteran, which means I get to go to the VA hospital. Woo! It's a great place. Great place. I was at the VA hospital recently, and the doctor told me that he was going to have to check my prostate. This was my first official prostate exam. I was a little nervous of what the process was going to be like. So when he asked me if I wanted a chaperone, I quickly said yes. And when he came back in with a female chaperone, I felt better, like somebody was going to have my back. When she walked up to me, I expected her to say something like, this is what I've gone to school for, my eyes will not leave your asshole. What she said was, I'll be over here facing the wall. Which to me clearly seemed like code to the doctor to molest this motherfucker. I quickly turned to beg this woman to watch me get fingered, but the doctor was too quick. He was too quick. Before I could say anything, he cut me off, and he just said, bend over the table at the waist. So I did. I bent over the table at the waist. I thought I had this. I've done this before. Let's get it over quick. But all I heard was, not like that. He didn't give me a pamphlet. There were no directions on how he wanted this to go. So I just decided to bend my knees. But this time all I heard was, no. We did this 3 more times. I straightened my legs back out. I did straight arms. I even laid on my stomach for the man. The whole time he's behind me on his knees with a smile on his face. Just like, no, no, no. I'm sure he threw a thumbs up to the chaperone, but she didn't fucking see it because she was facing the wall. Finally, I feel a hand gently rest on my lower back, guide me into his preferred position, and he inserted. I learned 2 things that day. I do not have colon cancer. And I should have just pooped in the box. This message was brought to you by Cologuard. Fuck UPS, we don't care if it's running. Oh, man. Who here likes guns? Yeah! Guns! Woo! Second Amendment. Freedoms. Here we go. But I do think we can all agree there are some people out there that just shouldn't have them, right? All right, I got another question for you. How come if you're on the sexual predator list, you can still buy a van? Oh, wait. I think we should relegate all sexual predators to horse and buggy. Really help cut down on the child abduction. Surely would have slowed down Epstein. Do you know how long it takes to get to an island on a horse and buggy? Several months. Sadly, we would no longer trust the Amish. As our nation's predators would move near Amish communities to blend in. It sounds terrible, but I honestly think it's a win-win. You see, the Amish have been around in our country for 274 years. That's freedom. Woo! They are famous for not accepting new members, yet having loads of children. That's incest. We get rid of the sexual predators, they get a bunch of new neighbors eager to help with their incest. That's a win-win. Any Amish sympathizers in here tonight? Yeah. All right, let's finish this out. Oh, I forgot my koozie. Can you grab it? It's in the front long pocket. Okay, guys, so I live in this small community. Yes, I live here. I have to see all of you at the grocery store. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. No, the front zip pocket, the very long one. Yep, the long one. So I often wonder in this town what my reputation is. I was recently at a parade with my kids in this community, and I was handed a koozie that read, "Don't rape." They were not handing these to anybody else around me. It clearly felt targeted. So I've been working on my not a rapist vibe lately. If anybody has any tips after this, please come find me. I'll be out by the dumpster with the horse and buggy. Thanks, guys. You have a good night.
Thanks. Okay, you're second.